So, hello people. I am going to explain some necessary skills that you need as a composer from the point of view of the musical time. Okay, so I will be speaking actually about mostly also about the mental skills that you need. So this video may not look so much as a music theory video, but it is one of the most important things that you can watch. It is one of the most important things that is important to know when you are interested in some introduction in musical composition, at least in the way that is taught in high studies. I will speak like this because university is not exactly the best example for everything today. But let's say if you want to think deeper about musical composition, this is the kind of introduction that will help you, and it's not so attached to musical styles. I can see this way, but of course will help you in the main fields that are related to this channel. So soundtrack, classical music, experimental, avant-garde, and a little bit folk music and songwriting. So musical time. When we speak about time in music, we speak about the musical time. Okay, so what is the musical time? This is the first important question to speak about. Okay, and we will have many other questions, but you have to understand that this lesson will it has the goal to be an overview. However, the overview will take I think it will take a little bit long, because I want to mention all the aspects that you should focus on in your daily routine or in your education as a composer. So if you are a self-taught composer, this is the video or one of the videos, okay, that you should watch, or one of the topics that you should research a little bit about. So when I talk about musical time, I will not expand the whole lesson speaking about this, because each thing that I will be talking here about, it is topic of a chapter or of a lesson. Okay, so trying to be more short in the presentation of each element of this lesson, I will resume this way about the musical time. So let's first start with time, only time. Okay, this is enough. This is already a lot of philosophy. But what I would like to mention here is that some people, they don't perceive already some important things in this concept that will help you already as a composer or as someone who wants to understand music. Okay, first of all, music is, of course, one of the most important mediums or materials. The condition of musical existence is a chronological one. Okay, so that's why we speak about time, but it's not the only thing. Okay, so all this video is still only things related to time. If I would speak about other parameters of music, then I could do another overview like this one that I'm doing. So talking about time, let me give you an example. This speech, there is a speech by Alan Watts. Okay, and it's very interesting, but he misses to explain where is he coming from the point of view of the philosophical assumptions, the epistemological assumptions for his view and perspective about time. And I understand that he can't also explain those things in his video about time, but this is important for us because there is two times. Okay. The one way of understanding time I will call ontological or metaphysic, if you understand this. And here we are speaking about the time as a thing, as an objective thing, okay, outside of us. And here you have also to do with physics, okay. But another way to speak about this is based on our experience of time. Okay, so let me explain a little bit better this thing. So I will do with this. So let's say metaphysical time, but we have also the phenomenological time, or the phenomenological concept of time, okay? This is why this is confusing. We can talk about two types of time or two concepts of time. And this is made by and each concept has a kind of philosophical school attached to it. I want I want this. So phenomenological time. And in this speech about time by Alan Watts, he's speaking about this time. This is why I think people find so interesting, but I think they don't know why it is interesting and why it is a little bit like controversial. And it is controversial because this phenomenological concept of time is not enough to explain realistic events of time from the point of view of a very realistic metaphysics. Okay, so this is why people come in the comments with some very straightforward common sense, and they also have a reason to do like this. So why is this important for us as a composer? Because the phenomenological time is the time is related to the time that we are caring about here, the musical time. Okay. And why this happens? Why is this like this? Because the phenomenological time is our experience of time. Okay. When we talk about time as a concept of as a concept that is a result of some employment, some type of employment of the so-called phenomenological method, this method of doing philosophy. When we talk about time in this sense, we are mostly talking about how our consciousness experience time. Okay, always when you talk about phenomenology, you are talking more about how is your consciousness experiencing things. Okay, So the main goal of this kind of philosophy, at least by Edmund Husserl, was to achieve objectivity in philosophy. Later, as they did with Hegel, they confused and perverted these things, and then this is why you have a strong marriage between phenomenology and postmodern philosophy in the sense of radicalizing subjectivism and relativism, because you focus maybe too much on our experience of things. So what is important is my identity and how I feel my identity, and not what I actually am. Okay, so our experience of time, and then here you have the musical time. The musical time is not exactly a physical time. Is a time from the point of view of how we are experiencing the musical events. This is similar to cinematographic time. Okay, so now we have our time. Then time, as we know, we have the stickers are kind of too big. Let me do this bigger. And please don't be annoyed by the fact of you have to wait a little bit, because when you wait, you have a lot to think already related to what I said. Okay, and I will talk fast about each point as I can, and anyway the lesson will be a kind of long, but I am not here kidding as a YouTuber, so to say. So musical time. Okay, so then now we have the three main dimensions of time. So past, have a little bit of okay. Now it's better. When I speak about bug, it's the bug in my head maybe. So past, present, future. So now, so metaphysical time or realistic time. When you are talking about realistic time, we connect things from past to present. So we have a causal event here and a result here, and things like this. And from this relationship, you can kind of predict the future. And we tend to think that someone happens here and causes what is here on the present. Okay. In the phenomenological times, and this is what Alan Watts is talking about, but he doesn't mention phenomenology, and this is why it looks a little bit like nonsense. So the present is causing the past. Okay, this is how he speaks about this thing. So the present is causing the past, okay, and the future. And the people of this doctrine of the law of attraction, so they also they speak about time mostly in this point of view. So your present is determining the future, and this is somehow true because this is our experience of time, okay. This is how our consciousness experience time. So we are in the present when you are hearing music, and from the point of view of our present experience, we are redefining what was in the past, okay. And when you're composing a piece of music or when you're hearing a piece of music, this happens a lot. So depending on what happens in the present, this will affect your perception of the past in this piece of music, because the whole event, the whole meaningful event is not read yet, okay. The whole Singebild, as there is a beautiful German word for this. So the whole picture of meaning is not read yet, and the present will be the most important factor there. So when we talk about musical time, this is the type of thing that we are talking about, and this is the importance of the present and of subjectivity. So how our subjectivity will be determining what happens even in the past or in the future as a meaningful event, okay. And our subjectivity in a wide sense, I mean also our mental faculties or psychological skills or personality, etc. So this is the first part, okay, to understand how this whole how to frame time in a general point of view. But we want to talk about the skills, the mental faculties and the mental skills that are important as a composer, and how we can develop them, okay, in unexpected ways sometimes, okay. So I want to give you a guideline for when you are doing anything in your life. Now you understand the placement of these things in your creative process. So let's start with the past. No, we don't start with the past yet. We first we need a very wide and broad relationship between these dimensions and our main mental faculties. So this will look more or less like this. Do you want I don't know, another color? I will start getting confused, I know. So memory is our mental faculty that is related to the past. For the present, we need perception, and many types of perception we can also talk about. But the present is something about really about perception and sensorial perception, okay. So here we come again to consciousness, okay. The idea is not to be extensive and complete with my list, okay, because for this I would have to check some details regarding psychology, etc. But it's not the idea here, and the lesson will take also forever. So it's enough if you have already a vision about the fundamentals, okay. So perception and then for the future, okay, faculty is the faculty of imagination. Okay. Imagination. Okay. Okay, for the present is also absolutely crucial, the consciousness or awareness, or but consciousness and perception, they are anyway very very related. Consciousness is still more a more general thing. It is the thing. Okay, so you could place consciousness as the master thing, because it will coordinate everything. Okay. And if you want to go even far, so consciousness and unconsciousness. Or better, I would say subconsciousness. Okay. For example, now I know that I will be going to talk about some things. I don't have them present in my consciousness now, but I know that they are somewhere in my head. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. It's like the cache in computer language or something like this. So these are like the master. Okay. I don't want to know the color here. So then the question is, now we can place the question properly. Okay, so music will be about past, present, and future in a short amount of time. So in the context of the musical artwork. And these dimensions, they will need memory, perception, and imagination respectively. Okay, so this is one of the most important things needed to handle everything that's related to past. This is one of the perceptions is one of the most important things related to what we need to conceive the present, and imagination is one of the most important things to handle the future. Okay, so memory for the past, perception for the present, imagination for the future. Now that we know that we need memory, perception, imagination, so now finally we can talk about which are the things that will develop your memory. Okay, and then now we start to get more musical here in the answers. Okay, so if I can do everything with stickers, I will be happy. So okay, so memory. So this list is not so systematic. Okay, I just want to bring in your head these elements. It's not like an hierarchy of what is important or less important. A very important thing that will develop your memory is something that many composers just they don't give much importance for this, and it's a very obvious thing in music. So this is the dictate, and it's in the topic of ear training. So this was common in the most and best musical schools, and still I had dictate in my music university. But I think people, principally people who are self-taught or in this YouTube era, they absolutely don't understand how much they are missing of this. And dictates will force you to be aware of how much your musical memory sucks. Okay, and it's painful dictate, but it helps because it will make you aware of what you need to focus on. And of course, dictate is related to ear training, and the better your ear training, the better your perception. So the better is your memory. Okay, so what happens that in many music schools or also universities, as I experienced, I think it's a little bit chaotic, the relationship between dictate and ear training and what you are learning in harmony or in another topic. They are disconnected. So this is why you don't get the most of this. Okay. So this is one of the good things of private mentorship, because then the dictate and the ear training can be intimately related to the topics that you are learning in other things. But I don't know, there are some good schools, and maybe you'll find something that is good in this regard. And also there are software for this, and there is my famous or not so famous ear training to go, that I will, let's say, relaunch in a new version soon, and then I will, maybe I can help you with this. But people don't give importance for this because it looks like okay, it is maybe not so entertaining as a video by Jacob Collier or Adam Neely, don't understand. So, and it's painful in the start, so people don't do it. But a similar alternative to dictate and that will help your memory is transcription, and more people do this. They like this, okay? Because when you have to transcribe, you have to keep some amount of music in your head for some time, okay? But honestly, you develop your memory only if you focus on this, on the developing, on the training side of transcription. But when you're doing transcription for some important goal, memory it's a little bit secondary. So short-term memory will be developed very short-term, and actually what you are doing, you are developing more your perception. So when I was doing, for example, my transcriptions for the Yousician. So how I see this, I don't want to hear something like 8 bars and keep this in my head. I focus on every tiny bit of music, every chord change, every vertical moment. I go like a laser. So I don't focus so much on the memory side, okay? Because the memory can fool you and can bring some illusions, okay? So you always go back to the present. This is why transcription is a little bit like problematic, but you can do a transcription that focus on a memory issue, okay? Like you hear 1 time, 2 times, and that's all. So in this sense, it starts. Then it's basically what we do with dictate. Okay, so Yeah, I have to put my hand on the piano, otherwise the chord will not come. For example, you heard this and you will not allow yourself to hear more than 5 times or something like this. So then you focus totally in this event. So you will force your memory. Now, another thing that is a little bit discriminated, improvisation. But here, even the people from figurative bass, they don't get the they don't get so much how important is the question of memory, and figurative bass exercise, they don't go so much in the thing of the questions of memory. But when you start improvising fugue, so better. So it depends the kind of improvisation that you do, that you are practicing. For example, I improvised now this looped chord progression, and I know that this fits good in my memory run, in my head. And this is a good exercise for the memory, that you keep going and variating on this, and then improvisation can be excellent for the memory. And this is also topic for another video that I have in my list, my to-do list. Very important, memory and improvisation. There are many ways to potentialize this. So as I said, each thing that I am talking about here is a whole thing. It's a whole interesting topic, and one can do many lessons and things, handle each one. So it's basically what I'm doing is quite like the whole program of a music school, understand? So improvisation. Now, this is also not, I think, well understood. So hearing music, of course, everyone hears music, but there are some ways of hearing music that will just radically improve your skills. Okay. And as I said, another topic that I want to talk with more detail about. So hearing music, when you hear something and you try to play this in your head later, and if it's a music that you like, for example, you are falling in love with a music, some song that's very long. This is improving your memory, okay? Because you remember these chords, and it goes back, and now chords, etc. So although it looks very basic and so simple, it is important, okay? So it's important to know that this is also a very key thing in the musical education. So similar to hear music, but not so much, and very discriminated as well by composers, instrumental music composers, is lyrics and singing. So how much folk songs do you know, and can you sing without help of the iPad or telephone? Do you understand how much lyrics do you have saved in your head? Can you sing then from start to end? This is an amazing exercise for memory. regarding this point, there is an interesting interview with the Ian Anderson of the Jethro Tull, and people asked if he uses this kind of teleprompt or such softwares that may help him to sing in the concerts. And then he said, no, I memorize everything, I practice, I keep my muscle like going. Okay, so this kind of mindset will only help you. And here, why I focus on such apparently stupid simple things? Because here we are, I think, losing our society. Do you understand? We exactly in these basic routine things that were routine for 100 years ago. We start. We don't understand which is the placement of such things anymore in your routine as a cool, as an interesting thing, something that is not a big deal. Okay, so imagine, I would say many, I don't know, women that are very, let's say, ethnic, not influenced by Western European cultures. So in Africa, when they sing some African thing, I can believe that they have more lyrics in their head as, I don't know, as me or you. Do you understand? Or the Indians in Brazil, many of them they have a whole book in their head still, memorizing. So the song of the Nibelungen, so this myth of the Nibelungen, this was a story. The story was set in verse. And why it was set in verse? Because if you set this in verse, it will, in poetry, it will be hard to understand. It will be hard to forget. Okay, and because now it's something more musical, and it has more symmetry, more harmony. Okay, so harmony and symmetry make it easier to remember the text and the story. And this is the function of the rhyme. The rhyme is not only because it's beautiful, because it makes you remember better. This is why Nietzsche wrote the I don't know in English, also sprach Zarathustra, in verse. Okay, as a poem. He wrote it poetically. The idea is to make it be something unforgettable, okay, memorable. So many folks they had this as a daily practice, understand? So the practice of increasing your memory. And what happens with us, we care about a Mac Studio with 120 gigabyte RAM, but we never care about our memory as a composer. So it's kind of ridiculous, no? So lyrics and singing, here you can develop a lot. I mean, here you can develop your overall memory skills, and this will only help you when you're composing for other reasons later. Lyrics, singing. So now another thing that is a little bit misunderstood. So analysis. So musical analysis is not the YouTube video that you see in 3 minutes with more information on the screen that you can conceive, and there is no conclusion about it. What is the main synthesis? Okay, I did this famous video on Brahms, but at the end you see, if you stop and watch there, you see some conclusions that are very synthetic. So they bring many elements that were identified in the musical piece. They bring these elements together in a conclusion and in a symbolic resume. Okay, so now you have the feeling that you can really conceive the whole essence of his orchestration in this piece that I analyzed. And when you can do this synthesis in a symbolic resume, you are improving your memory, because you are giving to your mind some tools to glue things with each other, creating a more, let's say, a more it is like creating a small version of the same product, but a version that you can carry with yourself. Okay, so the musical piece without the analysis is something that you cannot carry with yourself, and the analysis will be something will be a way of packing all these elements, all these musical elements, in one small thing that you can carry in your pocket with you. Okay, so your pocket is like your mind, your memory. So this is a way that musical analysis helps with your memory. Another way is because when you are analyzing and studying music, when you are studying a piece of music that is notated, the notation will help you increase your memory as you go in the analysis, because you start relating like bar 1 with bar 22 and things like this. Okay, so you start to have like an overview of the music outside of its own musical time. So you see the whole music, so to say, in the eternity. Okay, so this is the importance of analysis. But let's go for the next one, otherwise it will take long. This is another one, is absolutely basic. So repertoire. I know if you are a musician, this is obvious for you, but I know the composers out there, and the new composers. I know them, and I know how they tend to think and things like this. So I have to speak about this. I don't care how obvious it is, but as a composer, let's say, man, this goal I think I would give like for everyone. First, you have to learn some instrument, and I would say as a minimum goal in one semester, you want one intermediary piece. Learned by memory. Okay. So intermediary piece, for example, Mozart. And so on. So that you learn this in one time of your life, that you know how to play this by memory. It doesn't matter if you're in the university or music school or self-taught. These are key skills that composers had, and it has to do with how they compose the music well. So later you ask me how John Williams did this, or how Wagner this. This is how they did. This is a set of things. So one intermediary piece. If you can do this now, so try to make this your goal, a SAP. I don't know, learn piano. In 3 years, 4 years, maybe you can have a rhythm of once each semester. You have one intermediary level piece learned by heart, and this you don't have to do this for your whole life. For example, I don't practice piano for this time of my life, I don't learn also new pieces because I have all the priorities. But I did a lot of piano. Okay, so in public concert, so exams, all the hell. So and this makes your muscles stronger. Okay, it's absolutely key thing, and will make the muscles of your memory way more stronger. Okay, if you don't go through this via crucis, so to say, if you, in the case you hate it, but I actually don't have to hate it, you have to love it. It's fantastic, it's pleasant. If you don't do this, I think I don't know, you will always hit the wall in something. Okay, and man, please don't come with Hans Zimmer, Paul McCartney, Jimi Hendrix against me, because these are lucky people, okay? And they have a set of skills regarding some things, and they live there in what they do good. But you can't deny the joy of being able to play your music and read your own music, and to be able of memorizing 4 bars of music at least, or more in your head, and be able to write this down. Okay, and if you are not sure about this, so maybe the channel will not help you so much. So it's always time to change. Okay, so repertoire, I think this is enough. Okay, 1 semester, 1 terminary piece, but the another alternative, I would say 3 easy pieces. In 1 semester, you could also do like this. So 3 easy pieces, different styles. Okay. So, for example, okay, Emanuel is something very easy. Okay, so first you can try like 3 easy pieces, even if you're a guitar player. I don't know, memorize this. Okay, so start putting your memory to work. Okay, so lyric singing. Of course, other elements of music, they will be affecting your memory, like concepts of music theory and things like this. But in a more direct and superficial analysis, these are the key elements, in the sense of how you would be developing your memory. Okay, so because when you are learning harmony, you are not exactly developing your memory, but you are learning some elements that absolutely will help you have a stronger memory. This is true. This is the dominant chord, and now the tonic parallel. It will help your memory, your memorization. But this is a tool, like an accessory. Maybe absolutely essential tool and an accessory, but it is not you practicing your memory. Do you understand? Here I speak how can you practice, increase your memory. Now, for example, you go for a walk, then you hear, I don't know, Stairway to Heaven, hear 2 times, And now when you come back from your walk, try to remember everything and to work like a playback in your memory, so clear as possible. These things are things that are easy to do and will get you better as a composer. So this is 50 minutes. I don't care. I took 50 minutes to talk what has to be explained and handled. So what I will have to do now. So I have to consider this as a lesson that is already given regarding past and here memory and past, and I will have to postpone these other very interesting elements to a next video lesson, okay? Because I am not so much into making like 2 hours of something that that YouTube doesn't like so much, like 2 hours video, not so. At least in the stage that where I am now with my channel, I think it will put the channel a little bit behind. So I think the best strategy is that we finish here. So we have a lot already a lot to think about. Okay, I will leave this as a food for thought, and all the simple things here. Yeah. Now in the next week you observe them, and you can pick at least one that is like obvious, but I know that you don't do. Yeah. So do this, okay? Because you need memory. Man, I was composing yesterday, so I write something and then it's amazing. The quality of your ideas are many times so direct related to how much you can save in your head without cognitive stress. Okay, so this is the importance of this thing that I'm talking about, and I don't know, people don't talk about it. They prefer to talk 10 times about the negative harmony, you understand? But without this, your negative harmony will not work. But by the way, I think negative harmony does not work anyway. But that is the trend. But do you understand? There are things that they come before. They come before, and they are essential. And many times they are not the trend that you are seeing there on YouTube. So this is this is how lucky you are now to have watched the video until here, because we go in a solid way. I don't know how entertaining or how annoying it is. We go in a solid way on things that we have to go through. As I said, you can build a whole music school based on these components. And I didn't even did so deep research as I could do and bring more perfection to some details in a very general way based on what I studied from my philosophy and music theory times. I can give you a very strong resume already. And this principally for a self-taught composer, okay, you have then to take these things very seriously, because they will help you organize the mess of your day. Because if you're a self-taught composer starting in your second year, your third year, I know it's a mess, because I was there. I also started self-taught, or like skeptical about my teacher, just a guitar teacher, not a properly composition. So I was like in a confusion. So I had to sit down and to give a method samurai for me. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. Today I am totally free with my time organization. I don't have this stress, so to say, in the sense of I have to do this, like this whole stress. But if you are starting in your second year, in your third year, it is worth stopping, like Napoleon, and have a good look of the whole strategy long term. And then I am there to help you doing this. And this is what people do with me in my private lesson, that they pay me for this one-to-one mentorship. They pay me to do exactly this for them in a very singular and exclusive way. Okay, so just for understand the value of this video, and depending on my mood, I may turn it like a Patreon thing or unlisted or so, because depends on how much people are appreciating this. If I feel like it's not appreciated, so why put out there for free? So I keep for myself and for the people who is paying. So thanks for watching. Sorry that I could not go in these other elements, but the good part is that then you can focus on what we talked about. I would be happy if you give a like as a thanks for this upload and for the preparation of these thoughts. You can watch the Alan Watts video, not because I am an Alan Watts disciple or something like this, but because I think it's a good reflection to do. So you type Alan Watts about time, and it maybe give us interesting philosophical insights also about musical time. So that's all. Thanks again for the 100 subscribers. This was a very nice achievement, because as you see, I just do what I think I have to do, and it's not it is not easy. Some people they got mad if I share my video in some forums. Some other people know they are thankful. So it's not easy, man. You can understand why some YouTubers sometimes they stop uploading or things like this, because it is as I see it is a little bit like people who are really wanting to teach, they are like not in the best position to fight the people who want to entertain you. Okay, this is how I am feeling about this. But we keep going, because we are created to create. So that's all. Ciao, ciao.